I want to give an intro to the polio video that we are doing. Deborah Krantz and I were in Cass City, and we interviewed Marilyn Beefer today about her and her sister's life experience with polio.
My name's Marilyn Beefer. I live in Cass City, Michigan, and I was a teacher. When I was 6 years old, my twin sister and I uh, kind of got the virus, the polio virus, and that started us in our long journey. My mother was getting us up in the morning, and it seemed like my sister had a hard time getting up the normal way. She had to turn on her side, roll over, and sit up that way. And so mother thought a little bit about it, but then she didn't think any more about it. And then we took her to the doctor because it kept getting worse, and they said that she had polio. And to be sure to get Marilyn and Jim not shots so that we wouldn't get it, but obviously Marianne and I were always together, so we got it in the same place. After that, mother noticed it happening with me, and so both of us were put in the hospital. They figured it out that we probably had polio, and we went to the hospital. And when you first get to the hospital at Hurley Medical Center, it was an awful dark building that you could not have come. You couldn't have people come visit you. You could look at them through a window. And my sister and I were in the same room, and all we could do is wave at our parents. And I think there was something that they didn't have to yell at us, they could talk to us. So, and that started, we were in that building, I think, a week or two for isolation. And then they moved it to the big hospital, and they were nice. They had a lot of nice people there, and nurses would come in to see us and bring us little gifts because, of course, we were twins, so that was kind of a novelty. But that was three weeks there. When we first got polio, we both had symptoms. They were like a lot of achiness and failure to do simple tasks with your muscles, because that's what it is. It's weakening of your muscles. And so we were right away on therapy. Even before we left isolation, they gave us hot pads that were in steamers, and then they just, like I said, one nurse was real nice. She'd lay them on, kind of air them out a little bit, and then lay them on. One lady just slapped those hot babies on you. But that was one of the treatments. And then another one was when we got in a big hospital, we were in water therapy, not like you'd think of it today, but they'd lower you in with these big hooks and like a little thing to lower you down in, and then you'd soak for so many minutes. It was hot water, and not, I mean, boiling hot, but I remember those hooks. I'll remember those forever because every time I see one of those hooks, that's what I think of. And Mariana said that she thinks of the smell of the hot pads and steam and stuff, and she remembers that when she got something by her that's being steamed or something, and that bothers her. So and then we did exercises, physical therapy. We did it at the hospital, and our doctor was nationally known, Dr. Branch, and he was a rough old man, but he was really good at what he did. And he had us we had to go once a week and see him, and he'd check our spine and check how we were standing. But we had to do exercises. I had to learn to walk all over again. And we all did the exercises, even my mom and dad and Jim, and we sometimes cried because it was painful. When we first got home, we could sit or lay down. That was it. And then when we started having to learn to walk all over again, it's just like being a baby, and you have to just baby steps. take baby steps. I don't remember a lot of that part, but it just seemed all of a sudden we were. Well, Mariana really didn't have to learn a whole lot because she wasn't affected that much, but I just had to get the muscles stronger. So it's just as if you had a cast on for 6 months or whatever, and then you have to kind of learn to use that leg again. So, but I did wear a brace and up to my knee until I was 13. And the kids called me Squeaky because it always squeaked. And I just thought it was cute. They called me that. But I had that off, and I was in a cast for 6 weeks. And then when I got that off, I could walk. I didn't have to wear the brace anymore. But they had stabilized my ankle. They operated on me and they stabilized my ankle so that if somebody tells me to go like this with my foot, go up and down, I can't, and I can't go side to side, and I can only wear so high of heels, not this high, but only about this high. But then the only other surgery I had was my toes, because my toes were starting to curl under. And so what they did was they broke all my toes on my left foot and put me in a cast. Same doctor, Dr. Branch, did my surgery. And the only thing I remember about that is the Band-Aids were so tight that they hit on my toenails, and that just drove me nuts. I just hated that. But I made it through it. I think we went to Toronto right after I had it done, walking around Toronto in the winter. But and then they cut the tendons on this foot to keep them from curling. They did until I got old. Now they aren't. When we finally were able to get around good, we went back to school. But my parents felt that it'd be better if we waited get the whole year out of the way, because we started this in October, I think, and then we missed all that time. So they just said, wait until you're strong and we'll go back the next year. So we went back the next year as first graders yet, so behind a year. We were, after we got back to school, actually it was before I was 13, because I still had my brace on. A man from the March of Dimes, he was also a big bowler in Flint, and he had us, Marianne and I were his poster childs for this big bowling tournament he had. And it was for March of Dimes. And we had to sit on his lap and go there. And then when we were out of college, he came up and asked us to do a photograph with him and talk about how we were doing. And so we went, we sat on his lap again, and we just told him what we were doing, that we were both college graduates and that we were both teachers. And so he put a plug in and said, get them a job. So, and then we started the rest of our life. And but my husband, I knew him a year, and I had to do my resume autobiography, and he read it to see how I did, and he says, you had polio? And I said, yeah. I didn't notice that I walked different. He said, no, I didn't. So it sometimes bothers me when people ask or say, because people do stare. And I had one high school kid tell me, did you ever think that they stared at you because you are nice looking? I said, no, I didn't think of that. But I thought for a junior in high school, that was kind of a sweet thing to say. But it's part of who I am now, and I deal with it. And some days are better than others when they stare like that. One day I went like this and kept watching her. But it's we've had a very good life, both of us have, and We have great husbands and great families, very supportive, and it's who we are. I would like to add that anybody who considers not getting vaccines for their children, even if they get an okay from somebody that it's all right you come to school without vaccinations, get a polio vaccine. Or get what you need for your kids, because it's going to save them a lot of hurt and pain. And if you love your children, you will go ahead and get those vaccines for them, because the alternative is so much worse.